And welcome into Cards Central's post-game show. I'm Sara, Dayley, alongside Luke Slabaugh. So welcome to the team. It's my first honor of getting the pleasure to work with you here this evening. So I'm sure everything will be just amazing. But first, just want to say welcome to the team, and it's a pleasure to work with you.
Absolutely, Sarah. Big fan of your work. Wish we could have had some better baseball, but saw some life out of the Cardinals a little bit later. It's just too bad they buried themselves against the Rays tonight.
Couple of pros for sure, a couple of firsts for some guys that made their major league debut, both on the Rays side and for the Cardinals as well. So we'll tackle that in just a bit. But the final score, 10-6 out of Tampa. Unfortunately, like you said, not the direction that we wanted things to go. Putting up some solid numbers, 5+ runs there for the Cardinals. Bats coming alive a little bit. However, Tampa responded with over 5 home runs, and just another situation where you can feel the frustration because we're putting some runs across the plate, yet can't come out with a win.
Yeah, and Sarah, I've covered this team playing in this ballpark before I do a show with some folks out on the East Coast. And this ballpark in Tampa plays a little bit differently. I think you referred to it last night as Legends Field, which is
Right.
the traditional, like that's what we all remember, right? And it kind of has this Mickey Mouse feel to it. The dimensions, the way the ball travels, just even the way the air circulates, it paves the way to chaos. And if you can't dot your I's and cross your T's, it's going to be a really tough one. Credit to Miles Mikolas for persevering through those first couple innings because it was tough. He was giving up soft contact, and against the likes of Chandler Simpson, like that ball just creeps through. And the Rays, they know how to stick their foot on your throat. They are a running team, and they're a team with some sneaky good pop, some good young players, and also one of my favorite young pitchers in the game, Adrian Hauser from Locust Grove, Oklahoma. They had a really good recipe tonight. But yeah, the Rays in this ballpark, it's funky. The game last night was funky, and tonight just felt really weird. Granted, Michaelis has had his issues, and he has been prone to the long ball this season. This was kind of a match made in hell, I suppose, given how well Michaelis had pitched in Tropicana, and then going in this open air minor league style environment. It had a bad feel from the jump. I credit the bullpen for at least persevering and trying to keep it close there towards the middle of the game. But man, it kind of went to hell in a handbasket pretty quickly there.
So you touched on Nathan Church has been called up the last couple of games and really had a solid performance. I mean, he scored a couple of runs before even getting his first major league hit rather. And then tonight going deep, finally putting one over the fence, which is what every guy just wants to get that monkey off their back. And so the excitement, I mean, if you're looking for some of the pros out of this game, there's a really bright future for this young man. I mean, he does really, really well. And I like seeing him at center. I really like the feel that Nathan Church has. My son keeps calling him Eric Church, by the way, just because that's the natural thing that wants to flow, right? So I think he's going to be stuck with Eric Church in this household for a little while.
All I do want to do is just have a drink in my hand right now. But man, Eric Church, man, that takes me back to 2012. Amazing.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, we saw it with the outfield assist the other night. He's kind of dynamic. He runs the routes well, at least trailing those fly balls. He does a good job. And first multi-hit game, first hit, and then following it up, 1-1 slider low, hitting it to center field, 414, the tape measure shot. It was good. I mean, that was definitely a highlight. I would say, and I know that Cardinal fans just are over the hill. They're so fed up with hearing about patience when you got a guy making his major league debut in what feels like it's becoming a lost season, and not necessarily a heralded prospect, but one who's going to have challenges catching up to major league velocities and break. There's going to be a lot of swing and miss to his game. He's not going to be tearing the cover off the ball this next month plus. And I think Cardinal fans are willing to give him some grace. I think the intrigue is seeing him develop in front of our eyes rather than trot out someone that we already know what we've got in terms of a Victor Scott or a Lars Nootbaar. I saw a comment in the chat right now asking if you think that it could be a duking it out between Church versus Scott in spring training next year for that center field spot. Unofficial, official with the comment here live on YouTube. I think, yeah, I think that the Cardinals want to take inventory of what they got, and with Nathan Church, there is some intrigue here.
Yeah, and I think the inventory comment right there, kind of as soon as you said that really kind of rang true because I feel like there's so many puzzle pieces that the Cardinals can really kind of move, shift, put together, and now they just have to figure out what they're going to do. Hopefully, if they do make a move in the offseason, everyone's saying they're not going to, they're just going to stick with it Of course, you've got Heim Bloom coming in. A lot of things the balls are going to be in motion to make a lot of changes. So, of course, we love everyone's comments and feedback here at the show. So, if you have not, please subscribe, like, hang out with us. We're here all the time after every Cardinals win, lose, or draw game. And no matter how bad it gets, no matter how brutal it is, we're still here to support you. So, please continue to do so with that. So, a couple other comments. Nick Jensen, they're going for a four-peat of horrible pitching. Now, Miles again tonight. 2 2/3, 10 hits, 5 runs, 4 of which are earned, 1 walk and 1 strikeout. And that's not exactly getting it done out there for the Cardinals.
Right. And it's unfortunate. It's a day before his 37th birthday. Miles has been, a good guy in the clubhouse, and it's unfortunate to see that this trail off here towards the tail end of his career. There are some people that would opine that the Cardinals, given better replacement level pitching this season, would be in the thick of it, maybe a game or two over 500. And I'm seeing right now in the comment section that the patience has worn thin. I know Bernie, you've mentioned the Bernie show. They he's talking about a rebuild. If I'm sitting at home and thinking about shelling out tickets this season, I mean, wasn't this what the last 3 seasons was supposed to be? Like
Right.
retooling, uncertain of themselves, and you go back to this offseason, it was just Phil Maton. Like it was very milk toast, very fly by the seat of your pants kind of offseason. And so, yeah, I see genuine concerns about the pitching moving forward, and especially with Miles Mikolas. And it's not something that can be solved in one offseason. So, yeah, the frustrations are granted. It's warranted. It's unfortunate that this is how it's played out. There's not a cavalry. There's not a collection of great pitching prospects all coming up. If you try to hinge all your hopes on Quinn Matthews, you're going to be a very disappointed man or woman in 2026. It's not all going to solve itself in the next 9, 12 months or so. Fortunately, you've got an offseason to look forward to under Heim Bloom's leadership. Maybe dip into the free agent market if that's what the direction is. But right now, this is a little bit of intrigue with Matthew Liberatore. I like his arsenal. Otherwise, it is a lot of cross your fingers and hope the sinker ballers don't get uh, taken deep. That's how it's been lately.
Yeah, absolutely. And you mentioned kind of some of the star power and such moving forward with the Cardinals, and we really don't have that. So I think looking for someone to fulfill that role as far as someone who's going to bring some power at the plate, but also the star power out there for the fans, as Charlie Smith is mentioning right here. No more patience for this owner, my friend. That's over. And I was listening to KMOX today in the car for a bit, and I heard a lot of Ollie talk as well. Just saying, give him a chance. He doesn't have much to work with. What would any other manager do in the situation that they're in right now? So, and Jeremy Hodge here weighing in, saying Scott and center and Church and right. So, what are your thoughts about that move, and B, Ollie sticking around for another couple of years? What do you think the Cardinals at the helm will do with him in the managerial position?
They've got a lot of decisions to make, especially with Ollie going into a contract year. I know him to be a good man. He has been loyal to this organization to a fault since he was drafted in '07. And if Ollie Marmol were to hit the market this offseason, he would be well sought as one of the top managerial candidates, given what he has done with the talent level and production of this team. I think that he would prefer to stay in St. Louis. I don't think that there's any super bad blood here. I understand frustrations if you're a manager of a team that underperforms its brand like St. Louis has, you're going to get caught in the crossfires. And if this team were somehow able to moonwalk its way into a third wild card spot, which is still on the table, if not unlikely, then you start to see maybe a little bit more of public favor going his way. Um, I I don't know. I can't read Heim Bloom's mind. Generally, with the new president of baseball operations or new management or new ownership, there tends to be a focus on getting their own guy there. However, Ollie's ingrained himself in the organization. Maybe it is time. The Cardinals have only hired from the Tony La Russa tree since 1996. When you think about it, that's, it's a single-minded philosophy of an organization. Sometimes it needs a change of voice. John Mozeliak was once one of the top baseball minds in MLB running an organization and winning that championship in 2011 with excellent roster construction. And these days, things have gone sour. So if you want to do a complete and total refresh, reset button, I get it. I think Ollie Marmol will have quite an audience. There are managerial vacancies that would love to have him. And again, the youngest manager in baseball with 5 seasons under his belt. Um, I would bring him back, but this is not, you know, this is an uncertain time. It's been a very milk toast stretch here these last 3 seasons where the Cardinals are in maybe the worst spot you could be. They're not great and they're not terrible either. They're not getting a number 1 overall draft pick and they're not, making deep runs into October. Can't really judge Ollie Marmol because he hasn't been given the toys that Mike Schilt was. Mike Schilt
Right.
got Marcelo Zuna, Goldschmidt, Arenado, and that breakout season for Mikolas that y'all have mentioned down there in the chat. So it's really uncertain. I think Ollie can do better, and he has done okay with what he's got.
So a couple of other comments that I saw a Whitey comment, so of course that caught my attention. But doobie doobie doo, Whitey Herzog would have lit a fire under the team, not baby them like Ollie. In reference to that, two different types of managerial styles. I think 100%. A little the small ball and Ollie like tries to work that way in, but I think he has bigger fish to fry. Right, he's got bigger problems he's got to worry about when it comes to this team and what they have to do and what they have to do to put some wins on the board. As Ace Rob is saying, Ollie doesn't bring the star potential out of players, in my opinion. Well, I wouldn't necessarily say that. I just don't think he has that one person that is that star power. And I somewhat mentioned that a little bit earlier, like that wow factor, that one, they all can do it. It's just no one's really stepping up to, I feel like, play that and plug that role.
It's weird to see, Sarah, because I'm with you 100% on this. The Cardinals don't have a breakout star. I had a conversation with Grant Salzman a couple weeks ago when they dropped that series to the Rockies at Busch. And we were talking about this, and we were like, who is the Cardinals' best player? Like, who stands head and shoulders above everyone else in terms of talent? I'm not talking brand and endorsement deals and, Big Mac stuff, none of that. But Fangraphs and Baseball Reference would have you believe that Mason Wynn is, and mainly due to the plus value that he brings at defense. And in terms of at the plate, seen Jordan Walker, 23 years old. They kind of botched his development there. Had a good rookie season, and then ever since then, it's been start and stop and stop and go. Alec Burleson's had an above average season, and now he's got some right wrist discomfort. That's going to be hard to come back from, especially at the plate. Burleson having a good year. I wouldn't say star worthy, but he's chasing at the lowest rate of his career, which could be a good bat to have there at the corner outfield if he can play some decent defense. Wilson Contreras going deep tonight and hitting his 30th double to boot. That's some good things to see, but he's been hurt as well. So no one's had the extended, consistent run here on this Cardinals team that screams star. Brendan Donovan repping them at the All-Star game and being able to be a super utility player and play all over the place. But man, when you talk about rebuild, when you talk about why do I buy a ticket? Why do I turn on the TV and watch the Cardinals? I see some good, a couple above average players, and then guys competing and playing meaningful baseball here in August. So to your point, I couldn't really say. I couldn't really there's not one person that emotionally pulls me to the television set or seems like the clear-cut leader. Lars Nootbaar hitting 5 consecutive multi-hit games prior to tonight. Didn't have such great a game tonight, but uh, there are good signals, but nothing ever consistent that has gotten the push from this fan base. And to be honest, I would be fed up too.
Yeah. So the star power, the power hitter, and there's no doubt there's a couple of leaders in the clubhouse that are still going to step up and always warrant what they want from this team. And there's guys that have continued to do that and continue to show up and still fight and take some of these games. But Cardinal Nation legitimately does have a reason to be frustrated. So I can see how that weighs out a lot of times in these chats and where the frustration comes at. A couple of things to talk about, but who Sir Smokes a lot says a Colin, can he throw a ball? 1 inning, 1 earned, 1 home run, 3 hits, 9 pitches, and 9 strikes. He had a good night the other night. He just didn't have a good night tonight. So, we've had this issue with pitching, I think, this entire season, right? I mean, there's been ups and downs. It's been a roller coaster ride. There's not one consistent pitcher that we've had thus far that has really just flown the neutral plane or even a little bit higher than that, I think, this entire season.
Right. And a bullpen without Brian Helsley, given his struggles this year that frustrated fans as well, that irked fans. You give up Maton and Mats as well. This bullpen's going to run thin. It was telling that Veneziano comes on, Andrew Veneziano does, and is basically instructed to pitch his arm off. Sets a career high in pitches today in his longest outing, and uh, got the out in the third to get Mikolas out of that jam, and then a couple of well hit balls that made it 5-1 by the Rays there in the third. They got him off waivers from the Marlins in August, so it really is. It's going to be up to Bloom and this front office to build the bullpen from scratch. We've seen some promising things from Riley O'Brien every now and again, and trying to look at who else you would keep in the back end of that bullpen. They started to stretch Leahy out this season, which was all right. Jojo Romero, that blown save against Colorado aside, those are a couple of arms you might keep, but otherwise, and Swanson too, the right-hander. But this is very much open season, in my opinion.
100%. Well, let's go ahead and take care of our sponsors real quick. And that would be, of course, none other than the DraftKings. And nothing beats relaxing on a hot summer day and watching baseball. The simplest way to get in the action is to download the Pick Six app from DraftKings. It's crazy simple. Just pick more or less on the stats for two or more of your favorite players, and you're in the mix for big cash prizes. Download the DraftKings Pick Six app now and use code STL Sports. That's code STL Sports for new customers to get $25 in bonus picks with a first deposit of $5. Better payouts, bigger wins, only with Pick Six from DraftKings. The crown is yours.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org in Connecticut. Must be 18 and over. Age and eligibility restrictions vary by jurisdiction. Pick Six not available everywhere, including New York and Ontario. Void where prohibited. One per new customer. Bonus awarded as non-withdrawable Pick Six credits that expire in 14 days. Limited time offer. See terms at picksix.draftkings.com/promos.
So once again, the Cardinals have a rare off Saturday tomorrow because of scheduling with the NFL, and they're back at it on Sunday to wrap things up with Tampa. And then, of course, let's take a look at what goes on. I think their return after that point. Is that where we're at? Yes, the return to play Pittsburgh for 4 at Busch Stadium, and then back on the road against Cincinnati. So what are your thoughts, Luke, coming up with this next 2 series after we get through with Tampa here and then head home to St. Louis?
Well, first things first, I'm looking forward to Matthew Liberatore taking the ball against his former team. I think he can really stick it to him on Sunday, if that is correct.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's right.
Libby against Ryan Pepio. That's going to be great. In terms of facing divisional rivals this late in the season, yeah, you got a 4-game homestand against Pittsburgh. That be should be a good get right series for this team, and then maybe getting some momentum in September. I know that people are doing drinking games and rolling their eyes whenever I say wild card, and I'm going to stop saying that for sure because it's unlikely, but it's also possible. I think that this is a good time to face our old friend Tommy Pham as well. Would be an excellent time, but yeah, get this done and then get home for 4, and then the Reds, who are directly above you, they're currently playing Arizona right now. That could be a telling series for them as well. But yeah, I think that this is a good time for the Cardinals to recollect themselves. You get a rare Saturday off, and you're in Southern Florida. I mean, this is good. It's good scheduling to accommodate the Buccaneers across the street, and then you got that Sunday morning game. So I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, actually, I went to University of Tampa, and Ray J is like a gorgeous facility. So, kind of spending some time down there. It's an absolute great place to have a day off. Lots to do by Clearwater and the Bay, things like that. So, hopefully, they can just enjoy some time and reset their mind frame. But to answer some questions, yes, for Samuel, no ball Saturday because of the NFL preseason game that's going to be over at Ray J. So they're going to accommodate that. And then I saw a couple of comments about Paul Skeens. Maybe he'll get his first win against the Cardinals. And that kind of was like, geez, I totally forgot about that. I mean, I know we beat him a handful of times, but I didn't think it was this whole season that he had been not putting one up against the Cardinals. So that would be impressive to see.
Yeah, it's one of those rare kind of funny baseball oddities prior to the Yankee series, how Judge had never hit a home run against St. Louis in his career. And for Pittsburgh, they don't give him hardly any run support. It's kind of a running gag at this point that a guy who's likely to win the Cy Young, who's got all the best pitching tools in the world, who's just a monster on the mound, can have a losing record just because of the way things are and the way that that ownership has not funded the team or supported them as well. Bob Nutting and all down there. So I, yeah, I, I'm getting some laughs about a get right series, but for Pittsburgh again, it's a lost season for them. And for the Cardinals, who have always competed against Paul Skeens, probably a good chance to get Nathan Church some at bats, maybe get Jordan Walker a steady stream of plate appearances so they can see some elite pitching arms. They just called up Bubba Chandler as well. Unsure if we will see him in that series, but another top pitching prospect in baseball. Really good stuff that Pittsburgh has over their developing arms, and you wish that would carry over, spread to the NL Central. Cardinals got Quinn Matthews, and then trying to build up this system once again to be elite as it was under Jocketty in the early Mozeliak years.
So JP is saying that Bloom needs a clean house period if the Cardinals ever get out of this mediocrity era. Well, another mention too was just lose it out and then get a higher draft pick. I mean, there's a couple of those are extremes. You do have some guys that are going to be potentially an added bonus. You've got JJ Weatherholt. You've got a couple other guys that come spring training of next year. I think there's going to be a lot of unfamiliar faces for the Cardinals, which might be a good thing. That's not so much a bad thing, but in regards to a draft pick, I don't know exactly what that would do for the Birds. That's not going to be a quick fix. That's going to be back to 3-4 years. You know what I mean? It's not going to be an instant problem solver for what they have going on now.
It was an interesting because I've done some segments talking about Dylan Carlson, who's now in Baltimore, and thinking about his trajectory and Walker's and Gorman's and some of the other guys who were tearing up AAA pitching early in their careers at a very young age and were brought up and then scuffled. The strikeout rate went up and all that. And you would hate to see that out of JJ Weatherholt as well. I don't necessarily agree that it's best to keep him down this season, but it also is worth asking what value it brings to have him up here for this final month. Teams will get some film on him. He'll have to adjust to major league pitching and then likely be eligible for Rookie of the Year next season in the National League. So, yeah, the draft lottery is not a quick fix. The Cardinals have quickly ascended their top hitting prospects up the organization as of late. Weatherholt is, of course, getting flying colors as an example of that. But other than, it's going to bring fans to the seats temporarily for the final two homestands, I don't know what value necessarily is in JJ Weatherholt coming up here.
Yeah, and we've had quite a few folks actually comment on the Weatherholt situation and weighing in opinion-wise, like, do you leave him down? Do you bring him up? Do you let him go till spring training? And, I personally feel like I'm 50-50 on it. And I know that sounds like a cliche response, but I feel like when he goes into spring training, he's going to have a lot of time to kind of adjust, just be around some of the guys, get that comfort factor in, and then just go full fledged, right? Just open up the season, go at it, get after it, hustle, work hard. Where I feel like sometimes in some cases, like they come up at the end of the season, there's really not, I don't want to say the best camaraderie, but like just the mentality of where the team has been, especially for the Cardinals in the situation they're in now. Like, okay, so get some reps. Okay, so he can do that in other places as well, right? And still feel just as good. So I kind of feel like it depends on the personality too and what they're going to do. And there's so many unknowns right now for the Birds as far as what's going to happen that I don't know personally if I would be the one to say I'd probably hang my hat more on next season than anything this year.
I'm with you on that. And again, just going back to our conversations about moving parts, you have a new president of baseball ops. If they opt to make a change at manager, that shuffles the deck entirely because you're likely gutting the staff as well. And this is not to say that any of this is happening. I'm not predicting that. And I'm not endorsing that either. I think that to get a fresh start might be beneficial for a team that is under 500 and has a chance to rethink its lineup structure, rethink the placement of different position players, chance to maybe rebuild its pitching staff over the offseason or give some different guys some looks in spring training. So I'm with you on that. JJ Weatherholt will integrate himself into this lineup pretty well. It's just a matter of what position. If you can hit, then you got your cards laid out for you. You can definitely latch on with this team who's really looking for someone to put them over the edge offensively.
And as Aaron Dotson is stating, get him back or get him some at bats so he knows what to do and to fix things. Like if something doesn't work out, like Mason did. Well, and again, I think at bats are good. I don't think it's a bad thing, but you really have to just take a look, have a discussion. And there's so much that goes into this besides just our conversation here, clearly, but, and then figure out what's best for that player and the situation that the Cardinals are in.
Yeah, we're also getting comments here about the contract of Nolan Arenado looming as well, since he will still be under team control, primary third baseman for a long time, and reportedly having waived or used his no trade clause for a potential trade to Houston over this offseason. It'll be hard to find a fit for him given the injuries this year, the lack of production. It's kind of a logjam of intriguing to less than intriguing players on the infield. There's not one person that necessarily wows you. And with third base, Gorman, that's his natural position. So JC has played there. And with JJ Weatherholt and Mason Wynn also on the left side of the infield, you got a glut of people. And now it's a matter of who's expendable, who do you get value back for, who has options, and what makes you a better team. Where does Brendan Donovan play as well? These are all these are all valid questions that if I had the answer to right now, Sarah, I'd be paid a lot of money, but I'm not.
I think we all would feel that way. It's like, man, if we had answers, we'd be making a lot more money and having a lot of problems absolutely fixed and solved right now. So final thoughts here tonight. Once again, if you did just happen to tune in, the Birds falling short to the Rays hitting, going deep actually 5 times tonight. The positive for the Cardinals, Nathan Church getting his first home run as a rookie, just leaning that firm front leg. And it's also a first multi-hit game for him. So congratulations to him. But, Birds just looking a little soft tonight, not quite getting it done. And again, off day Saturday, we had a couple people ask, yes, because of the NFL preseason game, they'll be back at it on Sunday and wrap up the series with Tampa and then come back and take on Pittsburgh for 4. So any final thoughts, Luke?
I'm looking forward to seeing y'all bright and early on Cards Central 365. I am on all 3 days this weekend. Super excited. Yeah, Nathan Church, first home run, first of many, we hope, in St. Louis. There's going to be some swing and miss, and there's going to be some growing pains for him and for some of these younger Cardinals as well. So good to see him finally hit it, well over 400 feet for his first major league home run. Unfortunately, the Cardinals bury themselves early on. The Rays, they do kind of bring out the Whitey ball trait in them. Like they had good run scoring opportunities the first 4 innings against Mikolas and Veneziano, and that was enough to bury the Cardinals early. I think that given a different start to this game on the right foot, they probably have a chance to win this game late. And credit to Ali for having this team play meaningful baseball in the middle innings and score some runs. But if the 5th inning is your first scoreless frame as a pitching staff, you didn't have a good night. So the pitching set him back. Wilson Contreras homers late, but it's not enough. And it's disappointing. It leaves a sour taste in our mouths.
And is he absolutely 100%? Because he wasn't running quite as aggressive or graceful, I guess maybe is a good word. I don't want to put Contreras and graceful into one word because that's not exactly what I'm looking for. But it just didn't seem like he was comfortable out there on the base path just yet.
He's favoring that right foot and hit a pitch off it, I believe, earlier this week. So it's tough, especially after leaving the backstop position and getting banged up as a first baseman. Not exactly what you would hope for. But again, it's those nagging injuries that have sapped a lot of power and consistency out of the Cardinals, whether it's Nootbaar or Arenado or Contreras or even Donovan. It's kind of broken up the rhythm of this season, and it's kind of given this team kind of a directionlessness in terms of momentum. You've never really seen them string together a good run, especially after May. So they got a chance to get the series on Sunday. We're looking forward to it. It's a bright and early morning game, and down in Tampa, gonna be hot, but plays well to power. Looking forward to it.
All right. Well, that's Luke Slabaugh. I'm Sara Dayley. I'm just along for the ride. It was a pleasure working with you tonight, and I look forward to working with you in the future. And hopefully that will be a lot more than less. But again, all here right on STL Sports Central, all coverage all the time. Whenever you can get enough, please subscribe, like, hang out, vent, do whatever you feel needed. We're here for you. We're all part of this Cardinal Nation, understand. So have a good rest of your Friday night, and we'll see you right back here on Sunday for action, but also on Saturday for Cards 365.